Hello and welcome to Roleplay Rejects, where we play new and unusual tabletop role-playing games. This season we are playing City of Mist, a noir-style game where myths and legends inhabit human hosts, for better or for worse.
It's at this moment that you start getting a phone call. Your phone's buzzing.
Who is it? I look.
It is Officer Das.
I knew it'd be Officer Das. Do you mind sitting with him for a second? I gotta take this.
Yeah.
Then I guess I just kind of step off to the side and answer. Hey,
Alex, where are you?
I am at Glassworks Incorporated.
Okay. I need you to come to the Opera House.
Okay. Okay. Right now?
Yes. Fuck, yeah. Come help. Matt's hurt.
Okay, I'll be right there. I guess I hang up. Fuck, dude. I guess I'll give the kid my business card. I know that's not super helpful, but like it's something, right?
Yeah.
And then
as you get off the phone, you see John's eyes, and they are wide.
oh,
He knows something is up. Like, you can tell he is stressed. And he starts to get up, and shows you the exit, and looks like he's trying to
tell me to go.
tell you to go, but go with you.
Okay.
Like he's trying to go.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
very stressed.
Oh, I feel so bad for him.
I guess
Yeah.
fuck it, he's involved.
We were like criminal, and now we're sad man.
I
Sad
feel like
man.
that sometimes. Okay, I don't have time to deliberate it now. I brought you here.
Mhm.
I assume you want to come. Okay, I'm gonna make up a story for you, and then I'm gonna look to him, and I'm just gonna motion out the door, and then we're out, still dodging tripwires.
But he's probably going to end up at the crime scene again because she's the herald, he's death. So it.
Yeah, no, I'm saying we take him with us.
Okay.
Is that dumb?
No, let's do it. But let's lock him in the back of the cop car without
I don't think we should lock him in the back of the car.
But if he I don't know, is he causing the deaths?
I don't know. I don't think so.
We're having this
we can ask.
conversation as we're driving. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine as we were getting to the car.
Yeah.
I guess we'll get okay. So we get in the car, and you're I guess shotgun, and he's in the back,
Yeah.
and I type in my phone really quick. Have you killed anyone?
And he shakes his head. No.
Good enough for me.
Okay.
What if the poisoning or whatever was him trying to knock everyone out and her, so she stopped singing? Because he was worried that death or whatever, murder. Maybe he's not death, but he's got a bunch of death tattoos.
Yeah, I have so
Whatever.
above ground. I have two working theories.
Okay.
One is that Martha could still not be evil, right? But regardless, one is that the song puts everyone in a trance-like state, and then anyone could die at that point, and no one would know why.
Yeah.
Two is that this kid might just be death, but not maliciously, right? He might just be a personification of death, which is why he's painfully aware when people die, right? And maybe that's why he goes to prevent it if he can, right? Or if it's untimely or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know though. So
Because Martha says she can feel death.
Mhm.
So they're connected in some way. Obviously, we fucking know that. Okay.
Fine. I'm thinking. I've had the same thought 17 times. I'm
feel
just
like
running in a
there's something
circle.
I'm not-
I know.
Right?
I know.
Above board because I know
He's cheating. He's cheating. He's cheating.
I know, right? That riffs can be anything. Silent Night is a song. It's kind of creepy, Christmassy.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's my working theory above
Is that-
board, but I don't think Orpheus would be quite that locked into there's riffs everywhere.
I think Mending the Broken has turned Martha into a killer.
You think so?
Just gonna throw that.
Yeah, I
there.
think they're also involved somehow.
Oh yeah.
I forgot that was. I forgot we found that card.
At 8 a.m.
We'll find out Tuesday.
I forgot we had that card at all, but I do think it's also related to that.
Oh my god, yeah, because like, why would?
Because think
That'd
about
be
it,
a
right?
clue.
I don't know that I'm a Rift, but I go to an agency that's here just to help you with therapy-wise, maybe even like introduces hypnotherapy in there, and then can just fucking activate you at any time. You don't know what the fuck you're doing because you don't know that you're a Rift. They do, though.
Okay.
Well, I'm thinking.
Sounds very Delta Green of you.
A little bit,
potentially.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
maybe I've been daydreaming about that.
But but I don't know, man. Because like now that we think about mending the broken, what if Martha's a red herring, right? Because everybody that's died has a reason to be really sad, and when you're really sad, you get therapy, right? What if they are dying later on, right, to heart problems, but it's mending the broken?
Well, let's figure out what's
What
going on in the
if,
opera house.
what if Martha lets you tap into your emotions a bit more? Then you go to therapy, and then you die.
And then you're just dead.
You go to therapy, and then today's sponsor. Please get help if you need help. We're not shit talking.
Oh wait, yeah, I
you won't die at therapy
Implication, yeah.
unless you're a Rift. Yeah.
Okay.
The opera house.
Yeah, so you guys get to the opera house.
Ah.
Um
Sorry, that was an opera.
No, that was more Tarzan.
and you see Officer Das outside. You see Matt on a stretcher being put into an ambulance. And then you
Sorry, Matt is Officer Dass's.
Officer Quincy. Mm-hmm.
What?
Matt Quincy is
Dass's partner. Okay,
Okay.
cool.
Yep.
And you that's kind of like what you
What we pull
roll
up
up
to.
to, yeah.
Okay. She's outside.
She is outside.
And he-
She's making phone calls.
Okay.
He's getting put into the back of the ambulance.
I'm gonna go up to her.
I'll stay with him.
Is he staying in the car?
I can stay in the car with.
It would make
I don't
sense
know.
to keep him in the car because he is a prime suspect.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah, and we don't want Das to like
I'll
freak
go.
out.
Yeah, I'll go to Das first and say, "Hey, what's up?"
I don't know what happened. I came to check on Matt, and he collapsed, and you can tell she is like going into shock, and that's very not like her. He was on the floor. I called the ambulance.
Is anyone else here?
I mean the audience is gathering, and that you're at the opera house.
Yeah.
And you can tell that there's a performance that's like there's.
Is Martha performing here?
She is.
Damn. Okay.
I don't know what's happening, and she's just
Freaking out.
yeah.
Okay. That I have John in my car.
You have him?
Yeah.
Wait, and she just starts crying. That doesn't make any sense.
Okay. I think I can take care of this. I'm gonna try to take care of this. You make sure Officer Quincy's okay. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. And she like goes over to the ambulance and like tells them like, hey, I'm gonna go with him. And you can see she's just shaking. She is.
Were they the only
not right.
officers here before I got here?
Any other officers?
Yeah.
No.
It's just us.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to my car. I need to let John out because I think I might go crazy. So I'm gonna do that.
Okay. I'm gonna try and stay with him.
With John?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trio. Oh, I'm gonna group chat everyone really quick as well. Hey, we're at the opera house. We might go crazy and cry and maybe collapse. Heart emoji bread 100. And then do I hear singing right now? Like, is she singing right now?
No, you can tell that like there's kind of been like a weird pause because now there's like an ambulance outside.
Okay.
But people are still kind of in the process of getting into their seats and
Okay.
finding their tickets and putting their coats away and things
Okay.
like that.
You stay close to me.
Okay.
And then me, stay close.
And he nods his head.
Okay. And then, yeah, I'm just gonna, like, with purpose, walk inside. If there's like any like, may I have your ticket? I'm gonna show them my badge and then stay there with me and then continue to walk inside.
Okay.
Really, I'm just trying to find Martha as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm. As you walk in, you see the like red velvet carpet. There's a pretty big staircase. They do ask for your ticket. You show them the badge. They say, "Oh, okay."
This is my ticket. Sorry, I don't say that.
And
That's kind of what I was thinking.
they kind of show you up. There's 2 staircases on either side. You can tell they go to the same area. You go up the right side staircase, and you look into the greater opera hall area, where you can see that kind of more stadium-like seats are. And no one is on stage right now.
Okay.
Okay. We need to get backstage, see if we can like catch her in her dressing room before she even starts. Do I need to roll backstage knowledge or something like that?
I'm going to say no.
To find our way back there?
I think you have actually been to this opera house before. You haven't performed, but you have gone for class, and they did a tour of this opera house. They showed you how the stage area worked and how the sound booth, like where the sound booth was, kind of how the structure of the opera house is created specifically to help amplify sound, all of that cool stuff.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah.
I forgot that's the thing. That's like a thing in real life.
Yeah, it's
right?
like a
thing. Sorry.
So you're able to
graciously
kind of just scoot your way along the outside of the stage area.
Okay.
And there is a door that doesn't say exit that you remember being essentially like a secret door that gets to the backstage. They usually are used by singers and actors to go from maybe like the back of the opera house to the stage, and sometimes they do that for certain shows where they're trying to utilize the audience as part of the stage. So you're able to kind of slip back there, and at this point you go up a couple of steps and you're in the backstage area in the wings of the stage where all of the pulleys and levers are for the curtains. There's a few props here and there for the opera that is practicing for their upcoming show. But you would also know that typically if it's not like a full-blown production, there's not going to be like a lot of extraneous things. So if she's singing tonight, she's probably just singing. She's probably got a microphone and that's about it. So knowing that, you look around and realize she is likely not even going to enter the stage area until right at curtain call. She doesn't have anything that she needs to get ready.
Okay. Is the microphone on stage already?
It is.
Okay. I would like to unplug it from like back here, wherever it goes into.
Yeah. Can you do an investigate roll for me real quick to find it?
Were the people relatively normal as we were walking through?
Yeah, there's kind of just a hustle and bustle going on about like people kind of freaking out that there was an ambulance. So I hope so-and-so is okay. I wonder if it was a heart attack. There's a lot of old people here type of vibes, little rumors. But everybody's kind of finding their seats, looking through the program. Very normal.
And sorry, just before you roll, I do want to say that once I got that message from you guys, I'm headed that way.
Started making your way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I imagine it's probably a little closer to my condo, so maybe 15, 20.
Which message? The one where they said they said that they were on their way to the opera house, or the one where they said that they were potentially going to Go crazy or whatever? Yeah.
I don't know if you messaged that you were going to the opera house, did you? I thought
no,
it was just
I
messaged
Das that I was going to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I misunderstood that. Okay.
No, wait. No, I didn't. Because Das told me to go to the opera
You were on the phone.
Yeah.
So I think I did message you guys.
Okay, whichever the first one was. So I might already be.
I would imagine that you're probably getting there about now. Because like, even though there's a lot of traffic with the police car, if he goes whoop whoop, then he can kind of get through traffic.
Yeah, I have to do public transportation, which might get a little funky.
Yeah, so I would imagine that you're probably getting there about now-ish.
Okay.
Because they did have the whole driving there bit, the interaction with Das.
Yeah.
So.
Shit.
Okay, so for this unplugging roll, backstage knowledge, jack of all trades.
Because you're looking for the microphone jack.
Yeah, exactly. And dexterous fingers. In case I have to go around lots of cables, find the right one, I can follow it.
You know what? I will give you all 3. I do think your jack of all trades one is a stretch, but I do like the pun, so I'll give that to you.
Got you, King.
So a 9 total.
A 9 total. Okay. So I'm going to say you're able to find it. It does take a little bit, and there is a bit of fumbling just because you do feel this pressure of like trying to get this done quickly. And then there's an added pressure of like making sure that nobody else sees that it's unplugged by the time that the show does start. Because any good stage manager knows that like that's something that you check is to even though you've probably checked multiple times that night right before curtain call, you're going to be checking once again. But you are able to find it, and it does take a minute, but you're able to kind of hide the cord within that bunch of cords around it
Little
to
rat's
make it
nest of cords.
to make it seem like it's still plugged in even though it isn't.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Okay. Do you guys want to keep going onward? Did you let them know that you're on your way?
Hello. I'm sorry. Hello. I have arrived. Signed, Professor Alexander Cross.
No. Oh, and I was going to try and get off work early if it was slow. That's about as much as I can.
I mean, it's a Saturday night. That said, though, a lot of your clientele is that like more
Fancy.
posh crowd, and so,
Okay.
I'm gonna roll and see if your clientele is here at the Opera House, and that would give you a chance to come down this way, or if they're a younger crowd and have less interest in the opera. Okay.
Otherwise, I'm probably just going to be like, oh no, I'm sick.
Yeah. Oh, my tummy. Gotta go to the opera
I
house.
just threw up in the bathroom. And say it in front of customers. So then they can't really let me stay.
So based off of the roll, it looks like it is a pretty normal night for you, unfortunately. Do you want to be sick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just imagine her going up to her boss and be like, hey, I gotta go home. I'm sick. You don't look sick. And she shoves her fingers down her throat and just vomits on the ground. That's some shit I would do. Maybe I'm projecting.
I mean,
projectile
that's the
vomiting.
hope, right?
No, true.
Oof.
Yeah. I'm just going to tell my boss, whoever's in charge of me.
Okay, I'm going to have you do a convince roll. Just to see.
Just don't cough while you're saying it, because then they'll think you're trying too hard to sell it.
No, I'm going to be vomiting sick.
Okay,
Be like, I just threw up in the bathroom. And I'm doing it in front of a customer. 7. Hold on. Let me see if
Yeah, I was
I
going
have...
to say, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, vomit. Feeds off fear, because you're saying it in front of the customer, so the customer's like, ew, I'm scared.
Ew, I'm scared.
I don't want a vomiting bartender to make my... That's spooky to me.
Yeah, that's honestly...
People watching, maybe? The only thing because I was thinking, like, I watch people, so I know how people act when they're not feeling well. That's a stretch. Opportunist?
I would say that one definitely counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Opportune vomiting. If I vomit right now.
No, how I imagine it, right, is that like you are like, I need to go help my friends. I also don't want to miss out on
all the cool stuff.
This like action,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of make the realization like, oh, you know what? If I'm just sick, I can go home. And as you're thinking that through, you look over at your boss and you are like, okay, they're looking actually like kind of frazzled. It's kind of like a busy night. If I hit them at the right time with this, like you said, like in front of like a customer, and like if I really ham this up, like they're just going to send me home, no questions asked. And that's kind of where I see like the opportunistic side of it coming into play, is like, okay, like I see that my boss doesn't have time to grill me on why I'm sick. That way I don't really even have to like create this full-fledged lie. Like I can just say like, my stomach hurts, I was just in the bathroom, and then they're gonna say go home at that point, right? Like there's also the option to like use some of your other powers if you would like.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
make
I
him
forgot
vomit.
I can do that.
And then you'll both go home. Use your powers on yourself to make yourself vomit. On him.
But then she would have to relive that
Yeah,
at night, even though she had lived through it during the day.
Oh god, a horrible cycle. It's not really a cycle, but just
it's a one-time cycle.
all I can think of is having him imagine, like, you know, in shows when someone starts like retching and then everyone else starts doing it.
The whole bar.
Yeah, just like,
yeah.
oh, maybe make him worry
Imagine
about that.
seeing everybody retch in a bar, and then you come back to reality and your coworker's like, I'm sick. And you're like,
I'd be like, get out
yeah.
of here. I'd be like, I must be psychic. Get out.
You want to play rock, paper, scissors? That doesn't make sense to everyone else. That's just only we know about that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that.
Okay.
It's going to be like a combo.
Yeah. Let's give it a try. I think we're going to count this as a I think we're going to do it as a change the game. I think that's the type of role I want to go for.
So I don't know if fear is the right word, but feeds off fear, that kind of thing. Hypnotic suggestion.
Suggestions?
So I think that one for sure. Hypnotic suggestion.
Yeah. Opportunist.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say people watching, but I might be taking that in like the most literal sense, like watching to see if they're busy. But so that's not really what people watching means.
Yeah, I think
orchestrated
opportunistic-
chaos.
Say that again?
Orchestrated chaos.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a cool power
Absolutely.
attack.
Yeah. Not really causing a distraction. In a way, but not like really.
Mm-hmm.
Not in
I
the
think
way
you're
that
waiting for a
it
distraction
intends.
more than you
Yeah.
are creating a distraction. At least how I described
So-
it. If you'd like to change that, you can.
No. I ended up rolling 7, and with the 3, it would be 10.
Yeah, that's a success. That works.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's any for weakness. Maybe super crowded places. Is it like really busy, or is it just like normal busy?
It's normal busy. And I would
Okay.
say that in the case of you being at your bar,
Actually, yeah, I have the
Like-
bar between me.
yeah, and it's
people.
like something you're used to. It's an environment that you're normally in versus like a crowded area that you don't frequent. I think
Okay.
that's kind of the difference there, in my opinion.
All right. Yes.
Okay. So 10?
Mm-hmm.
Sick. Okay. So the way I'm going to play this is we're going to have this be essentially like a flashback of what happened. So you saw the text warning you guys that Alex and OP were going to go and they might not feel great afterwards. Bread 100,
Bread 100.
whatever. And Professor Alexander Cross is like, okay. And he throws on his little
My suit
suit
jacket.
jacket. I would almost call it a sports coat, but it's not really a sports coat. It's a suit jacket. and heads on out. And you, Olivia, you look at the text and you go, fuck, I don't want to miss that. And so you, like we kind of talked about, like create this plan of like, okay, I've just got to wait for the right moment to go tell my boss that I'm sick. And you head over and you say, hey, I was just in the bathroom and I'm not really feeling well. And the patron that your boss is talking to, getting their order, looks disgusted, like, ugh, get her out of my sight, essentially, right? And your boss is like, okay, then why are you here? Go home. And
Oh, my poor
just
boss.
looks frazzled, right? But is just like, obviously, he can't be like, oh, stick it out when this patron is as grossed out as they are. And you kind of like, okay, thank you. And you head out. Because of your proximity to the downtown Opera House area, where your bar is located, it's literally like a block down.
Oh,
You're
shit.
able to get there around the same time that Professor Cross is getting there, because he took public transit pretty much immediately, whereas you kind of had to like wait a second to get your timing right with your boss.
Yeah.
But you guys do get there around the same time. Essentially, Professor Cross texts and says, I'm here. And you are like, hey, me too, as you're kind of pulling up next to him in stride.
Oh, sick.
So we see Olivia kind of speed walking, texting, hey, me too. And we get to you, Olivia, seeing Professor Cross and meeting up, essentially.
Okay.
Oh,
Hey, Professor.
hey, I suppose we should move in. I don't know necessarily how far along Alex and OP are, but we should definitely get moving. So now we have already canonized that this was a place that you went to on a school trip.
Yeah.
Was it a university school trip?
It was.
Great. So I assume then I can just be like, oh, hey, professor here. We already have a working relationship. Maybe I could roll for it.
I think let's
Using
roll
my
for it because you
my profession.
are a history teacher, not a music teacher.
Oh,
So
excuse me.
I'm just saying, it wouldn't be an automatic roll, right?
Right.
Or not, like, I mean, an automatic give me. You do need to roll for it, is essentially what.
Okay. So since I'm a tenured professor, right,
You got
I
10 of
have
'em?
university access.
Oh, you've been teaching for 10 years?
That's
Yeah,
not how
like-
that works.
And why is it called that?
I don't know. But
No one
it's not-
actually knows why.
Knows why what?
Tenured?
Tenured? Oh, it means that you
You-
can't get purposely fired.
No, I know. But you've been teaching there for 10 years.
But it's not spelled 10-yeared. It's
Yeah.
T-E-N.
That's how Latin works.
U-R-E-D, I think.
Yeah, because year.
Sorry, that joke.
Anyway.
No,
Anyway.
yeah, sorry.
Okay, so
University access.
I'm not going to say that one because this isn't part of the university.
But
this
it is,
it's-
though. We just
no.
talked about that.
No, it was
Well,
during a
I mean,
field
you-
trip
No, it was
to
just like
the opera house.
it's like saying the aquarium is part of like a school.
Yeah.
Well,
the
yeah, but they have
elementary
like working relation.
No,
Okay. Okay.
I'm not going to give you that. But I
Um,
will say your tenured professor one. I will give you that one because
Okay, that
that
one's
means you've been
technically
around
not
the block
a,
for a minute.
a power tag, but that's like my training logos, whatever. I don't know how we rule those.
It's more just like a descriptor.
Okay. Then I got nothing.
Okay, roll
Just
for it.
roll high. It's easy.
8.
8. Okay. So I mean, you're not dumb, right? So you're kind of thinking through, and it does take you a minute because there's a lot going on, and you don't know the situation fully, so things are a little chaotic. But you eventually get to the place where you're like, okay, it only makes sense if I'm looking at this opera hall and the performers are not out on stage yet. I don't see my friends. The only place that it makes sense for them to be is backstage somewhere. And so you start to head down that same kind of route that Alex and OP went down with you and Olivia. And you kind of aren't quite as familiar, but you've been to the Opera House plenty of times to see shows yourself. And you remember, like, there are ways to get backstage from the seating area. You kind of look around and peek behind some patrons that are still standing, kind of blocking the door. And you're like, oh, yes, that's the door. And you follow your way up backstage. At this point, Alex and OP, did you guys wait for them when they said, hey, we're here? Or did you keep going?
I think I would have kept going. I don't know if I would have even looked at my phone, to be honest.
Yeah, I think we're too in a rush to
Yeah.
looking at our phones.
Okay, so while that was happening, and they got to the backstage area, you guys continued on. There's this space. You've got the wings, right? And then there's another door to the back that leads to a hallway. This hallway has 4 doors. If you come from the wings out that door to the right, there's one door and it looks like it exits to the opera hall area, essentially another way to get backstage from wherever in the opera house. You've got a door that's pretty much right in front of you. And that one says men's dressing room. There is a large bay door that it looks like they move set pieces in and out of, right? And then there's a door past that to the left that you would assume is probably the women's dressing room because it's pretty symmetric. And then to the far left is another one of those exit doors out into the opera hall.
I guess I'm going to go for what looks like the women's dressing room.
Okay.
Get to the door, knock really loudly, and say, City Police Department, is everyone in here decent? I need to come in. I'm just going to shout that, I guess, at the door.
Oh, yes, officer, one moment. And you hear kind of some skittering around and stuff, and she comes to the door and opens it. Before we go further, did you have OP and John follow you?
Yeah, I imagine.
Are they right behind you?
Yeah, I'm like a few steps
I imagine they're
behind.
like we're like in the V.
Okay.
You know, so I'm front and center, and then like I have OP over this shoulder, and then John over this shoulder type deal. But like perfect, yeah, they're like right there.
Okay, sounds good. So she opens the door and she says, "Oh, officer, I'm so glad you're here. I'm been worried about the other officer. Is he okay?" And you can kind of tell she's like
Does she?
a little.
Does she smell like
intoxicated.
alcohol?
She really smells like alcohol. Like she's opened the door and she's talking at you and she's kind of bobbing her head a lot, and there's just not that same like poised air about her that you guys saw in the jazz club a couple nights ago. But as she says that, she kind of opens her eyes and realizes who she's talking to and sees John. And she says, "Oh no, it's the killer. I see him."
Oh, sorry. You look down. I thought you were like, keep going. Yeah. Everything's under control right now. I have to ask, are you drunk?
Yeah, probably. a little bit.
Is that like? Do you normally drink before you perform?
Most musicians do.
I look
It's a very
at
normal
OP,
thing, officer.
I go, do you get this drunk before you perform?
Not this drunk.
And you can kind of see that like her makeup is already smudged. Like
Jesus.
she's like
drunk.
drunk.
She's a mess.
Like,
yeah.
Like-
she should not have even gotten ready for her
Yeah.
performance, essentially, because like it's already ruined.
Damn. That's crazy. Martha, would you be willing to come with me, like, and like to exit the premises? We can get somewhere safe and talk about things.
Not if he's gonna be there. And she obviously is talking about John.
Yeah.
Well, we can go to a different room. How is he responding to this?
Yeah. Is he?
John is just trying his best to like kind of keep tabs on like what's happening, but he does seem really reserved, like a little stiff.
Mhm.
And he keeps looking between you and Martha.
Like as we converse, he keeps.
He keeps keeping his gaze on exactly who's talking.
Yep.
And you can see, especially when Martha talks, he's trying to determine whether she is like what she's saying.
Like he's really focused.
Yeah,
on-
like-
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And he's trying to like, yeah, I would say like he knows that you're a trained police officer, so he's letting you
Handle
kind
it,
of
but he's still
handle
like
it, but
obviously
he's on
concerned.
guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very alert.
So my power tags. He's like me.
Yeah.
Did you say earlier that there was like an empty room looking place? You said, because I know you said there was a men and women's dressing rooms and then the bay door. And then there was other doors that kind of led back to like other parts of the opera house.
Yep.
Did they look relatively empty or were they like,
Yeah, so they're kind of like extra hallways
Okay.
on the sides, where OPU would know this. They essentially are mimicking the hallways that are inside the theater itself, so that actors can run back and forth without bugging the audience. So there's, if you were to go out those doors, there's a pretty long hallway and then doors at the end of that hallway that the actors come in and out of.
okay,
Yeah, we can step out if
yeah, if you don't
need
mind,
time with
we'll
her.
be right here if you want to step into one of the
Okay.
these empty.
Yeah, I'm gonna like
Always.
guide John.
And John
along.
is beside himself. Like he's obviously not fighting back, but he keeps looking back at you, Alex, and like just looking so worried, like shaking his head at you, OP, being like, no, like we shouldn't leave, like is kind of the vibe you're getting.
Yeah.
Is there a place I can stand where okay, so these doors that lead to these hallways, I'm imagining like a door where like the top little bit is like glass so you can like see through it. Is that accurate?
Yep.
Okay. Is there a place we can stand where they are on the other side of the door and out of earshot, but John could still see us if that's what his concern is?
Yeah, I mean, if you stayed where you're at right now in the doorway of the dressing room, if they went out to that hallway, they would be able to still see you. And the purpose of those hallways is to keep it relatively soundproof-ish.
Okay.
So you're not going to get full-blown privacy, but you would still be able to see each other.
Okay.
Is that your plan then?
Yeah.
Yeah. If John's cool with that. I kind of gesture to like that closer door.
And he concedes, but it seems more out of like, I don't want to get in trouble than out of agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he does not take his eyes off of you from that moment forward.
Yeah. Okay.
And at OP, as you lead him to where you're trying to get him to go, like you can feel the tension in his body. Like he's walking, but you're essentially like dragging him.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about at this time that I would imagine that Professor Cross and Olivia would show up in that same doorway that you first went through that's across from the men's dressing room. So you would be able to see them now if you want to have any sort of like telling them to leave, or if you think it's okay that they stay there. The hallway itself, like you can hear people's footsteps, so it wouldn't be a surprise that they're now
here.
Yeah.
From a distance, I'll wave, and then I'll like point to myself. Like, do you need us?
I guess I'll look at Martha and say, do you mind? I know this isn't exactly the most private location, but I mean, obviously, John and my colleague are out there. So if there's no issue with having it here, like if you want to just talk here, that's fine.
No, this is fine. I just don't want him around.
Okay. And then can I'm just gonna call out my phone really quick and let some of my colleagues know that I'm here before we start. Is that fine with you?
Then she just kind of nods her head.
Okay. I'm gonna text you guys. I'm gonna text a group chat. I'm gonna at you particularly because I saw you gesture at me and say stay within earshot. And I'm also gonna text Officer Das and say like, hey, I'm at the opera's house. I'm talking to Martha. She's drunk as hell. I have my normal daylight partner.
Mm-hmm.
I have my other partner, right? Did we ever talk about that? Or do I only have my normal daylight partner?
You only have your normal daylight partner. Your particular office works autonomously.
Okay.
And that's why if you are a beat cop, they normally pair you with like a normal cop so that you can kind of have more eyes and ears on the city without like being tied down to the like extra department itself. But they put a lot of trust into you guys to make sure that like you guys work together, but that you handle things on your own.
Okay. In that case, I'm gonna at you as well, OP.
Okay.
And say like, I guess if John feels the need to burst back into the room, I wouldn't try to stop him.
Okay. I won't.
And then I'm gonna say, okay. Can you tell me about what happened at the washboard? I know you rushed to the hospital. Were you injured physically, or was it for another reason?
Sorry, I'm trying to. At the washboard, that man, and she points towards John, came towards me and he had a gun and he tried to shoot me, but I took it from him out of his hands and he ran away. And they took me to the hospital because I was just so scared and my nerves were shot. And then they let me go, and you can just kind of tell she's like, her words seem like empty, right? That like, almost like she's regurgitating a story.
Yeah.
Right? Like that it's not her remembering, like she's not remembering these events.
She's like, this is what I say if I get asked.
Yeah.
This. Yeah. Okay. You found a concerning amount of bottles in your dressing room that evening. Do you want to comment on that?
Sometimes I forget to throw out my trash.
Okay. Yeah, sure. But I mean, like, they were like a lot of bottles, like a concerning amount of bottles. Like,
it's a bar.
What?
It's a bar.
Oh, fuck, she got me there.
And she kind of like she kind of knows that like you weren't expecting her to.
Yeah.
So she kind of smirks, like, got him, right?
We- Is it unprofessional for me to ask about like the mending the broken thing we found? Is that like an invasion of privacy? Because we found it in like a locked drawer.
I don't think it's an invasion of privacy.
I guess
just don't.
I
know
guess
if
I'm
it
investigating a
applies
murder.
right now.
Yeah, and you don't have to tell her where you got that information.
Oh yeah.
I guess that's true. I'm so bad at interrogating. Why am I a cop?
Just think of noir films, and you've caught your suspect. Why'd you do it?
Can you tell me more about the altercation? I struggle to understand how you were able to wrestle away a gun from your aggressor, especially when he seems to be like a pretty able-bodied individual.
Was the gun still there?
I don't think so. Was it?
So you
We found a bullet.
found the bullet, and there was not a gun there. However, there was not a gun on John
On
or
John
near
either.
John when you saw him either.
And- yeah.
So,
Okay. I forgot what I just asked. Oh yeah, the kerfuffle. Yeah, how do you do that?
it must have just been the adrenaline. I was so scared. And I'm just so sick of him being around. And you see him, or see her start to get kind of angry.
Yeah.
He ruins everything. He's always there.
Okay, calm down, miss.
Just kind of red in the face.
So you shot him, and then you ran away. What happened to the
No,
gun?
I didn't shoot him. He shot at me.
And you got the gun from him,
Yes.
and then
And then he ran away and I called the police.
and what happened to the gun?
I don't know. I went to the hospital.
That's fair. I don't know if I went to the hospital. How long has it been since that happened? Like you Misty, God. It's been like what, a day or two
Since
since she went to
The-
the hospital and got released.
that was 2 days.
Jesus Christ.
That was 2 days. Yeah. So this afternoon ish,
She got released.
she was sent to the hospital.
Okay.
Around the time that you were discussing with the foreman, Miles, that was around the time that she was released. And like, it would make sense to you piecing all of that together that she probably was pretty insistent with the doctors because she had a performance, right? Like that it seems like weird to you that that they would have just let her go after something that traumatic happened. So you imagine she probably was just super insistent on getting to be able to perform. Because otherwise there's no real reason for the rush of
Yeah.
getting
absolutely.
her out as quickly as there was.
You're not worried about. Do you know? Did you know an officer, Matt Quincy, at all? It was Matt, right? Matt Quincy.
Yep.
Oh yes, it was horrible. He was here guarding my dressing room, and I came out and he just had fallen down to the ground. And I saw him, and she points towards John. I saw him again. And I called out, and the other officer, the woman, she came by and they called the ambulance, and I've just been in here getting ready ever since, trying to wait until they tell me that it's okay to go on stage.
That was just recently that this happened.
Yes.
That doesn't make sense. John was with us.
And you see this like shock and kind of like the fuck?
Like this old
type.
shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
like,
I'm going to.
well, he had a hoodie on. It must have been him.
No, that's impossible. He was with us when this happened.
I'm gonna
There must be someone else.
put some text into my phone and show John and be like, "Hey, do you have a brother or a sibling that she might be, like, mistaking as you?"
He shakes his head no.
Okay.
I'm thinking. I don't know what else to say 'cause I'm really bad at this.
Yeah, this is wild.
This shit makes no sense to me.
I'm not getting it.
Officer Das, what happened when she came in? She seemed pretty shaken up by the time I got here.
She saw the other officer and she picked him up and dragged him to the stage area and had the ambulance come get him. But he's dead, so I don't know what else to do.
How do you know?
You would know he's not dead.
Yeah, he wasn't.
You would know that he was like very much alive.
Yeah. Why? I'm sorry. Did you say he was dead? When I got here, he was still alive and kicking. When I saw him.
What is going on?
She starts to get really visibly nervous. I thought he was dead. I thought he was dead, and she kind of walks backwards a little bit. As you see her walking backwards, you're kind of able to peer into her dressing room a little bit more, and you do notice that there are more alcohol bottles.
Jesus.
This place is not a bar.
Martha, I'm gonna ask you to come with me back to the police station. Maybe we can get a more extensive statement there.
I've given so many statements, and you can see that she's getting upset again.
Okay, relax.
I don't understand why this keeps happening. It's all his fault. And as she kind of gets more and more worked up, you notice that she kind of pauses for a second and breathes, and she begins to sing.
Oh, no.
Cover your ears! Cover your ears!
I should have brought my headphones.
I do have my headphones, because what the fuck else am I gonna do when I walk home from work?
That makes sense.
Wait, do we see and hear everything?
I would say that you're getting a good bit of it. I don't think you're hearing everything, but you're getting enough that you kind of understand the back and forth. She's drunk enough that her speech, not only is it slurred and kind of hard to understand sometimes, but it's also going up and down in volume where she like can't really control how loud she is. But like I said, you get a good amount of it, and you do definitely hear when she's starting to sing. There's a definite change in almost consciousness, right? Like it seems like her speaking was very like difficult for her to get through, but this singing is almost like a natural.
Like suddenly very fluid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wild.
With that, I am going to have you, Alex, do a go toe-to-toe roll.
Yay.
And this is essentially going to be whether or not this singing affects you.
Okay.
Isn't that a face danger then? I don't know if it matters, the difference here.
I don't know, but it's a struggle for control.
Oh, see, go toe-to-toe is when you use your abilities to overcome someone or something and struggle for control, whereas face danger is you use your abilities to avoid an incoming hit, endure harm, resist a malign influence, or hold it together.
Yeah, I mean,
I think either way would.
I don't know the difference.
I don't know that it matters, to be honest, because I feel like you're right, like face danger also makes sense. Let's go with face danger. Because while you are trying to overcome the opposition, essentially you're really trying to reduce or avoid an incoming status, which is her singing at you.
Yeah, so for listeners out there, hi, how's it going? So face danger, it looks like it says you roll a 10 plus, you take no status effect. 7 to 9, you take the status, but with -1 tier. On a miss, you take full status. That's face danger. And then go to toe. On a 7 to 9, you choose 1. On 10 plus, you choose 2. And it's you achieve your goal. You get them good.
Why Ayata?
Or you block, dodge, or counter their best attempts. Yeah, so go toe-to-toe sounds like fight.
Yeah, normally it is. My thought process is like overcoming her attack, right? That's essentially what she's doing.
Oh, achieve your goal. Or
But-
rest, probably, yeah.
Yeah, but like
Okay.
I think we're gonna do face danger because of the avoidance of an incoming status is like the ultimate goal here.
Okay.
So
The only power tag I can think of is alert, and I would only argue that because I think I suspected enough already that her singing was like a major factor in this that I think I would like. I think I would like have like the mental equivalent of prepared in action to when she if she starts to sing, either like physically stop her or like cover my ears. I think more so physically stop her. Like in my brain, I just like shut her mouth. Which is why I would almost argue for like go toe to toe, because I also have but I don't know if that makes sense. But
well, I mean, I guess yeah. I think it's up to you at that point, actually, because
Depends on how you.
because that's
Yeah,
how
how
I
do
didn't
you
voice it,
avoid
but that's how I planned. Like in my sense, that's how it makes the most sense that I would stop it. Is like a physical, like covering of the mouth, right? Also because that's like
I think also like, would you cover her mouth or would you cover your ears?
I think her mouth because one of my mystery identities is how to protect the most people, and if other people are in earshot, then if covering my own ears doesn't do that.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're a hero.
I try my best. And so I would have alert, I think, which I already argued because I was already like pretty wary of that. And then I would also argue, and let me know if these are too aggressive. But I have maybe not all out attack because I think that is too aggressive. But I have parry and ruthless.
Sorry, it does sound really
Yeah, exactly.
punch her in the mouth.
I think let's go with. Well, I think this is up to you, right?
Okay.
So I think if you are cool with potentially hurting her to get her to stop singing,
Then ruthless.
then
would
you can
work.
do all three. If
Okay.
your ultimate goal is to keep her from harm as well as everything else, then I think we just do
alert and parry.
alert and parry, because parry makes sense to me. You are parrying an attack, right? Like that. It's a weird one, but like it is.
Yeah, I'm trying to make that not happen.
Yeah.
I also have a weakness tag that I think applies with this, which is innocence involved.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know, man. Okay, I have to wrestle with my brain really quick because I don't think she's that innocent. Like I think, like with her eyeballs, she's obviously lying or at least trying to lie. So I don't know, man.
Are we considered?
I guess
innocent?
the people TM around would still be innocent. I just don't know if that would imply in me trying to shut her up right now, right? Which I guess I'll leave to your discretion. I still don't want to be ruthless because I'm just gonna. What am I gonna do? Tackle? Bust her head open? I'm not an
think
animal.
Innocent people involved would be more about like,
Indirect danger.
yeah,
Or just sleepers.
the way I see it is like people who like, are your actions going to harm innocent people unintentionally? Is there going to be collateral damage?
Yeah.
Not like, oh no, this person's gonna hurt these innocent people. Like, if you're given a choice from them. And like option A, you can save the people, but they get away. And option B, the
classic Batman.
yeah,
scenario.
like you
Catch the
you're
Joker.
there's
Yeah.
gonna be collateral damage, but you can stop them. And like, is that gonna you dealt with that dilemma? That's how I kind of interpret it, but it's not my character.
Mhm.
So
I think the only problem is like for me right now is whether or not I think she's innocent, and I don't think she's innocent, but I also like don't know for sure. You know, I don't think she's. I mean, she's obviously lying. So at the very least, she's obstructing justice.
Yeah, I don't know. At all
That's a
accounts,
crime.
from what I'm seeing, at least me.
It's very shady, right? Like, yeah.
No, she is blatantly lying.
Yeah.
Stumbling over her own lie, and in response has tried to sing, and we're assuming that singing kills people.
True. Yeah. And also, she thinks it kills people. Yeah. Can I not have my innocence involved tags? Does that make sense to not have it there, or do you
Yeah.
want me to have that weakness there?
No, I think that's fine.
Okay, then I have +2. Oh fuck! Actually, sorry. You just you just made me realize that she probably tried to kill Officer Quincy. Can I use Ruthless as well?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
This is up to you, right? Like,
Yeah.
this is the first time that we're kind of seeing like actual quote unquote combat, even though it's not like actual.
Yeah.
So these types of roles are a little bit more choose your own adventure than it is for an investigate role. Where
Actually-
I'm like,
Sorry.
I don't know. Do you see it? Right? Like, so go ahead.
Do
if
I
you wanna
have to
use it.
have juice to burn a tag? I do, right? Right?
I believe
I think so.
so.
Okay.
I believe so.
Okay. Then I'm just gonna roll.
Let me. Do you
Okay.
want me to check?
If you want, I don't mind either way.
Burning tags. During the game, the rules may tell you to burn one or more of your power tags. This can happen when you voluntarily burn a power tag to gain a boost for an action, you miss a move and the MC uses her move to tell you to burn a power tag, an adversary controlled by the MC uses their abilities to impair your abilities, a fellow PC uses the change the game move against you, or you unleash your mythical powers and burn out, which is the stop holding back action.
Jeez. That's the cool action you just named. I hope I never have to do that.
So if you voluntarily burn your tag, a burnt tag is temporarily unavailable and cannot be invoked or burnt again until recovered. When one or more of your tags is burnt, translate the rules into the story by explaining why it is unavailable. The circumstances under which your tag was burnt should be included in your explanation. There can be several appropriate explanations for a burnt tag, including you have lost the will to do whatever it is this tag represents or decided not to apply it. Whatever this tag represents is no longer as effective as it used to be. You can still use it, but it won't really make a difference. Your powers or abilities are temporarily shut down, inactive, or inaccessible. Your allies and contacts have done all they can for you, or they are upset with you, not answering your calls, etc., or wary of helping you. You have temporarily exhausted the resources this tag requires. For example, you had a gun and you ran out of ammo. Or your gear or relic is damaged, lost, or dysfunctioning. So you essentially, what all that means is you are good to burn a tag when you want to, but you won't get it back until you get juice or you take the downtime action, the long rest, essentially.
And does burning a tag, what is it? Does that just add a bonus or does that auto succeed? What exactly is the benefit?
So when you burn a tag, so you can voluntarily burn a power tag to gain a dramatic boost to a move. Think of it as using up all of the tag's narrative power for a single dramatic action. So essentially, yeah, like it's like a power boost, essentially, that lets you do something super duper cool, but also inhibits something else for a temporary amount of time. I kind of think of it as like the adrenaline rush, right? Like if you have an adrenaline rush, you might have like extra pep to your step, right? But there are certain things that your body shuts down, like your processing skills, for example, usually go out the window when adrenaline hits. So it's a similar thing, but just based off of your powers, if that makes sense.
Okay. I think I'm gonna do that then.
Okay. Yeah. What?
I wanna-
What are you gonna burn?
Parry, I think. The platypus? Sorry.
A platypus?
Burn him at the stake.
Parry the platypus.
And I think how this happens is in my brain. And let me know because I know I need a reason to not use a tag again. So how I imagine this works in my brain is she starts singing and I'm worried about not getting there to stop her in time. So I basically like instinctively reach into like the powers that I get from my bracelet to like I guess kind of like amplify or like boost my physical prowess to make it in time to make sure I can get there quickly and like cover her mouth or whatever and not be inhibited. But doing that in like that fashion puts a pretty big like physical strain on my body because I'm kind of moving faster or like performing better than like people should. And that hurts, buddy. So that's it. I was gonna make it end. Like I was gonna end it a lot cooler than that, but I'm done talking now. I'm still talking, but I'm done with the explanation.
Yeah. So you kind of leap into action. This is something that you don't get to do often, but it's definitely something you train for. And you are able to kind of lunge at her and forcefully, but still relatively gently get her down to the ground. And you are able to cover her mouth. While you're doing this, she kind of is struggling. She's trying to move, trying to become louder and louder. And as you kind of notice where she's squirming, you realize that she has that gun
Oh shit.
strapped to her leg.
Sorry, strapped is such a funny word. You said strapped and I was like, oh, she got that. You remember the memes of what the fuck was it, man? It was a drink.
Twisted Tea.
Yeah.
Tea,
I saw her in my brain with Twisted Tea strapped to her leg. Oh shit. You're in earshot still.
We have ran over at this point.
Yeah, I would assume. And at this point, too, John has left you, OP. And essentially, once he realized that
She started singing.
Officer Alex
Low.
Yep.
Lowe, thank you, had kind of walked into the dressing room, John was not comfortable with him being out of eyesight. And so he's already kind of gone into. So the group of you essentially is at the doorway, watching him tackle her to the ground, watching her kind of resist this essentially arrest, right?
Is she still trying to sing like
She
on
is.
the ground?
She is at this point, like, you guys can still hear, but it's kind of guttural at this point. Like she's obviously, she can't get vowels formed or anything because her mouth is being covered, but she's still like humming kind of this
Yeah.
sick feeling song. And you would notice, OP, that the overwhelming feeling of sadness that you have felt, that you had felt over at the jazz club is also permeating in this dressing room.
Okay. And is it coming from Martha? Okay.
Have you made us aware that she has a gun?
I'm about to. I need one of you to call the police. She has a gun on her leg. I can't let go of her mouth.
Should we call any department or
Just, Professor, you call 911.
very well. Beep 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 beep.
Just 3 digits.
911.
Well, I have to open the call app and
That's
then
not, but it doesn't beep. Never mind.
guess.
It doesn't matter.
I guess. Actually, sorry. Can we go back in time a second? Whoa. I would know that it would make more sense to call either Das's department or my department.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, if like a normal police officer found you like pinning down this woman, covering her mouth, like that's not. They're gonna look
can't
at
really
you like, how is she a threat,
Yeah.
right? And you can't
just
explain
not a
like,
good
oh,
look.
she's magic.
Magic songs.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, she has a gun. And they'll be like, so what?
Yeah.
why are you covering her mouth?
Exactly.
Is she gonna
exactly.
shoot?
Okay.
But your department is well versed in like the wild magic that can
Yeah.
be possessed by these different beings. So,
And
well, I guess not your department necessarily, but like
but we worked
your-
out before that when a situation is relatively. I don't think we worked this out on mic, but we worked out before you and I that when a situation is potentially pretty dangerous, they typically send people from both departments.
Yeah, it becomes like a task force.
So if I call
essentially.
one, they'll probably tell the other anyway.
for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Back in time. Professor, go in my back pocket. My passcode is
Alright.
the number 1 4 times. There's a contact RW. Call it and let them know that. I keep forgetting my name, bro. That you're with Officer
You
Loney.
said RW.
You said
again.
RW.
God! Why? Like, what is that? There's a
Relic
contact in my
Relic
phone.
warriors.
RH. Call it. Let it know. Officer Lowe needs backup at the Opera House.
Ring, ring.
Who's held a gun before? Who's dealt with a gun before?
I have.
Okay, Opie, will you hold her legs down? Olivia, will you get the gun from her and I was gonna say deep bullet it and unload it. John, I look at John. You're not John. I pointed at Misty. Misty's not John.
I mean, I kind of.
Yeah, you are John.
She is, yeah.
I'm gonna look at him and make it very deliberate and clear and say, guard the door.
And he does just that. He takes his job pretty seriously, and as
real
we
one.
mentioned earlier, like he's a pretty imposing figure. So
True.
it does seem like
He bounced
as
her
long
material.
as somebody doesn't recognize him,
He's good.
people will probably stay away. That said, he does, check the hallway, and then he'll continue to showcase his concern towards you guys every once in a while
Yeah.
to make sure that everything's okay.
Yeah, which works out because we know he didn't vanish or get vanished. Okay. Is there anything in this room that we could use to like tie her hands or anything? I ask out loud and to God. I guess I'm asking in and out of character. Like, can I roll to look and also like say that around? Because
Yeah, you
I'm
can
still
roll to
holding her, but other people can probably look more while we wait for authorities to arrive.
Yeah, you guys can roll. Who wants to do it? Do you all want
have
to do
my
it?
tie. I dressed up for the opera, so
You
So
took time
cute.
to get dressed up.
Well, he's
I just
always
had to
kind of
throw on
dressed
a
up.
tie.
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
just
honestly,
wearing-
I don't think you need the roll for that. I think that
Okay.
works. You have a tie.
It's the opera. It's a tied event.
I'm not wearing a tie. This is serious.
I'm being serious.
I can't let go of her mouth.
I can't let go of her legs.
Am I able to successfully
yeah.
get the gun off? I also have a box cutter from work. Like, if the strap is difficult, then I can just cut it.
move. I'll cut you like a box.
There's a pretty simple release mechanism. It's essentially just a button that you press in, and it has it's like a leather casing, but the inside mechanism is just plastic essentially. So you push the button in, and you're
Okay.
able to safely remove the.
And then I unload it.
You make sure the safety's on.
Yeah, I do
Then
all the
you
gun
unload it.
safety things.
Thank you.
I haven't. I don't know.
It's okay.
I just considered it for the first time. Is John not a rift? You don't have to tell me, but I just considered that because he could not
the
be.
He
sad
has to be because
boy?
he feels.
Oh, you're right. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Because I was like, I haven't seen him do nothing rifty except for that. He did no death. Okay, cool. Guns dealt with.
Here's my tie. I don't know what we're using that for.
Just tie her hands behind her back. I can't do it.
Does anyone know strong knots?
I haven't really tried this before, so I don't know how well it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of want to make her feel safe. Like, kind of make her feel like, oh, all these people are here to help me.
I should stop singing.
Like, there's no reason to lash out or sing. Everything's calm and quiet. But I'm trying to figure out what sort of environment to show her.
Oh, a beanbag chair?
A beanbag.
Yeah, dude.
That would get me.
I'd be out.
I'd be chilling. But me personally, I don't want to project.
So I think
But I don't know if it's even going to affect her since her stuff does emotional.
Oh shit.
so. I think
Maybe you guys are
here's
sisters.
the way that I would like you to kind of think about it, right? You can either, as Olivia, a kind, caring person, try and help calm her down, or you can do some reverse psychology on this bitch and use
Scare tactics.
scare tactics essentially to try and calm her down using your intrusive thoughts, right? Because intrusive thoughts are by nature more like scary, anxious, bad type thoughts because they wouldn't feel intrusive if they
They're
were
unwanted.
happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think you need to kind of choose whether you want to go more of the
I, as Olivia, am going to talk to her.
okay, yeah, absolutely. Let's do a convince roll with this, and go ahead and read me power tags that you think would apply.
Well, one of my whole cards is mental illness. And part of that is like I know grounding techniques. And
Is that one of the tags you have?
yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, that's perfect.
and I pick up a little bit better on indicators of someone's mental condition. Is another tag. It just says indicators of mental condition because that was a lot to put on one line. I don't know if there's much that would
I think those two are great ones.
because my wallflower one is one of the cards, and the mystery identity is look normal, feel normal. I was like, I don't know if that works either, but yeah, I mean, savvy and streetwise.
I think we could go with that one too, right? If you're savvy and streetwise, like you probably know how to talk to people a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those three are great.
11. I've done
Finally.
Hey, okay, awesome. Go ahead and tell me what you tell this woman as she is humming her little heart out and kind of squirming and
it.
obviously breaking down.
I'm gonna sounds weird, but I want to put one hand on one of her shoulders. I'm gonna kind of pet her head, and just, but in a rhythm. Try and keep it just calm. I don't know, I don't know how to describe it better than that.
No, I think that's fine.
Try and keep even movements. So there's some things that she can focus on, and then I'm just gonna tell her hey, it's pretty obvious you've been having a hard time, and I'm looking at all the bottles, and I was just wanting to let you know that we're all just here to help get you through this. So you don't have to fight us. We just want to make sure everyone's okay. And then I'm just gonna hope that she chills out, or just kind of just continue to like assure her that things are going to be okay, but she needs to settle down before we can help her in any other way.
Yeah. It does take a minute, but you notice that it's slowly starting to work, and she starts to kind of relax. And you notice that she's honestly kind of getting a little bit sleepy, to the point where, you know, she's not really humming anymore. And she's kind of at peace for a moment. And as she gets to that point, you notice that there are tears streaming down her face. And she just kind of lays there and cries for quite some time. At this point, do you guys continue to restrain her, or do you let her go? Well, like, probably not let her go, but wait for backup to get here.
I think I'm gonna tell you that we can chill on the tie, and I'm still gonna have like physical, like maintain physical contact with her. I am gonna like I guess I will still have a grip on her, but I'll try to like slowly like let her mouth go. But if I hear anything, I'm gonna
Yeah. Okay.
and then I'm gonna ask, did you get through to anyone when you called that?
Yes, I informed them of our location and of your name, of course. They did ask the nature of it, and I said singing. I don't know if that was exactly the
Sure, it's good
right
enough for them.
protocol, but
Cool. Coolio Dulio. Are you? I kind of look at Martha. I go, "Are you gonna calm down for a bit? We can get some help."
And she just kind of nods her head, but she's still
Out of it.
bawling.
Yeah.
It's at about this time you have backup finally getting to the space. They're coming in from the various exit doors. You've got about 4 officers that have all come in at once to be part of that task team, or task force, excuse me, that we talked about earlier. And they get to about the doorway where John is, and he looks at you to make sure that these guys are okay to enter.
Can we go back in time like 60 seconds?
Sure, yeah.
I do want to say to the group, like I guess right after I heard that you made the call successfully. I do want to have said to the group, like after she comes out, after you made the call, that a lot of cops are gonna pull up and start asking a lot of questions. I don't know if you want to sit here and answer all the questions. I'm not telling you not to, but if you want to skedaddle, like now would be the time to do so, unless you want to make official police reports.
No, I think I want to get out of here.
I think it's probably best for if I stay here with her right now,
Okay.
just in case.
I'll be sitting here as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna like dip into like the darkness of the backstage area and not like trying to run away entirely, but I also don't want to be.
You just want to blend in with the people
middle of everything. Yeah.
already
On
there.
second thought, I should probably get going as well. Ever since like saying that he'll stay here, he just starts kind of like shaking a little bit. Nope. I think I'm fine. John. Let's see if I still remember it. I'm trying to do sign language from like years ago when I had like one kid who was deaf and knew sign language, and I learned some of it. I like your Christmas arms. No, what's the
Christmas arms.
And he kind of smiles and like he says thank you, and he lets you step aside. And John kind of looks at you, Alex, and is like, should I stay here? Essentially, right? Like, you can kind of tell he's like, is this still where you need me? Like, these people are leaving. What's going on?
I guess. I'm sorry, my stomach's making so much noise.
My
Mine
stomach's
is
making
too.
a lot of noise.
It was the Bonchon.
Bonchon really got to us. I'm trying to think. I don't like he is a suspect in this
He is.
in this thing.
He is.
He is.
Yeah.
It's probably best for him to just come with me to the station, and I can vouch for him
Yeah, I
about
think so.
like
Yeah, especially since
I
you
caught
were
her in-
literally you were literally with him when
I caught
one
her
of
in
the
a lie,
instances
and I can be
occurred.
like, hey, this is John. But I don't know, man. He might still get slapped, like legally slapped on the wrist because he still broke and entered into that apartment. Right?
He
Yeah.
broke into
Yeah, I
that
think-
apartment.
I think
He
that
broke
would
into
be
the-
up to the people involved to decide whether they want to press charges, though.
Yeah. I guess. And then the apartment said they didn't, right? That they weren't going to press charges? Or did they just not find him?
They just wanted to grieve in peace.
They
Yeah.
didn't
They
wanna
made their
press
statements and they
charges.
wanted to be done with it.
Yeah.
And I guess since this is like not the city police department, it's like the relic hunters and the limos.
Mm-hmm.
We're not exactly beholden to the same things.
Yeah.
I think she's like calm enough now. Fuck, man. I don't know if you should stay or if you should go. You know? I think is it like it's like evening still, right? It's pretty late.
It is. Yeah.
Um
You would know that the opera itself was supposed to start at 8:30. It's very delayed at this point, and patrons have started leaving because they're sick of waiting. So it's about like 9-ish.
I think I can vouch for him still. Because he's like Rift, like aside from like me, even if I suspect him a little bit, he's done nothing really like showingly rifty. And I can just take him to the station and explain why he's innocent and that he was kind of being used as like a scapegoat for this woman. Like she was using him as a scapegoat. And then I guess I can try to like play defense on like the actual city police department side too. I'm gonna have him stay with me, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he just kind of nods his head. You can tell he's a little nervous about it, but he trusts you.
Okay.
So,
Coolio.
and as you kind of have this exchange with him of like please stay here, he's kind of, nods understandingly, and he looks over at Martha and his eyes soften, and you can just see just a lot of pity for her, and a little bit of concern. And then he goes back to guarding the door. And it's at this time that your backup comes in, and John lets them through. And they start going about the whole process of arresting her, talking to you, talking to Olivia, having John kind of stay near you so that you can help him communicate a little bit better. You were able to kind of look around the dressing room, and you've noticed that, first of all, her mirror is shattered a little bit. And it looks like one of the bottles at one point was thrown at it. And that's obviously shattered all over. But on her dressing table in this particular dressing room, it's obviously not her dressing room, but there's like some pencils and some like notepad type things, and you're able to grab that and give that to John so that he can kind of communicate a little bit better, which is a lot more efficient than trying to go back and forth.
Yeah.
You notice that he's not very what's the word? Literate. Like he just like when he texted with you.
It takes a second for him to...
It takes a second, and words are often misspelled. But he gets the point across as people are asking him questions. While this portion is wrapping up, is there anything that you would like to do before we wrap up this case?
I guess I just want to make it... I don't know if I recognize any of the backup that pulled up. But I guess I would continue to do this as like the proceedings went on. But I do want to make sure everyone knows that like, hey, these two people with me, like this guy in particular, and I point to John, like I know he was like a suspect in this case. He's totally innocent of all the accusations. Like he's been kind of a victim of this in his own right. And because they know like magic and shit, right? So I was like, I think like the main reason like he was so involved is because when her singing would take its effect, he would be the only one unaffected because she's deaf, right? So I just want to make sure everybody knows, like I know he was a suspect. He is not a criminal. Do not treat him that way. And then I'm gonna make sure that they know Olivia is just someone who was here, who just happened to be in the wrong place in the wrong time, help me get the situation under control, like an outstanding citizen. But other than that, has no involvement in this case.
Okay. Yeah, and you have been working with the department long enough that, you know, it's small enough as well that everybody kind of knows you. You kind of know them. You might not be close with everybody, but you've
seen them around.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're also very aware of your prowess, I guess. And there's not really too much questioning going on as you talk to them, and they say, oh, okay, interesting. And they kind of ask John, like, well, why was it that you were always at these crime scenes? Like, if you can't hear, why were you going to a singer's performances, right? And it takes a while, but he eventually is able to write a statement where he explains that he was able to sense the oncoming of death, and he had a premonition about Martha's future, and essentially saw her creating all of these crimes when that flyer hit his face. He looked at the flyer, and that was when his powers essentially came into full force. And obviously he's not articulating this like this well, but I feel like you guys deserve to kind of know.
Ghost of Christmas Future.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh my God, that's sick!
Oh.
And so
Christmas.
he saw,
I get it now.
He saw her future, and he was trying to warn her and trying to stop her. So every time that he would be at these crime scenes, it was him trying to get her to stop, because he saw how hard she could spiral, and he didn't want that for her, because he's just like a gentle giant, and he didn't want all of these people to die, and he didn't want her to like harm herself either. And so he was trying to show up to these places to stop her. But it was always like him being used as a scapegoat, like you guys deduced, because he would show up and then he was the easy one to blame.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because of these visions, he kind of always knew where she was going to attack. So, for example, like in the Bancroft house, like he knew that she would be there. And that's why he was there too.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah. And you do find out through, again, this is a lengthy thing, but you do eventually find out too that when he went to go confront her in her own dressing room, that was a way of him trying to stop her prior to any sort of additional crime happening. Because a lot of the time he realized that he was doing it right before a death. And so he was like, okay, well, what if I do it kind of out of the blue when there isn't somebody to be killed? And she didn't realize that he was deaf. And so she tried to sing to him.
Saw that didn't work.
Saw that it didn't work.
Tried
Pulled
to
the gun
shoot
on
him.
him. Pretended like he had the gun. And he ran away, obviously, after getting grazed.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
And so he was hiding out from you guys, but realized that, like, you were just trying to help because he always sees the best in people, even though, like, his life hasn't been great.
Damn, what a real one.
He's had a hard
and,
life.
Yeah, that's...
Is that why he wasn't surprised to see us when we pulled up? Or was that
Yeah,
just
well,
his-
he noticed you guys pull up and thought about making a run for it, but noticed that you guys weren't coming in, like, packing heat and, like, trying to, like, find him, you know?
Yeah,
So
get his ass.
yeah, he kind of felt it out because he still wanted to help Martha, right? Like, that was his ultimate goal. And so he realized that there could be an opportunity if he worked with you guys to, like, help her, even though it was scary for him because he knows he can't communicate. So,
What a brave guy.
yeah.
I'm glad I went with the comforting approach.
I am too. I was
'Cause
interested to see, like,
My
how
other,
that was going to go.
the only way that I thought that I could do it with the intrusive thoughts is to make her believe that if she kept on singing, she was going to lose her voice forever.
Damn. Your power is scary as hell, bro.
Yeah.
Really is. Yeah, I was interested to see what you came up with, like, either way, but I think
Well, it's just like, she does not need more fear right now, bro. She clearly has a lot of it already.
yeah.
I still can't.
Plus, I don't want those nightmares.
Valid.
Yeah.
I still can't pin. So Martha is just a mean person, or is she just like alcoholic?
I think she's just
Hurt. Like it's hard
spiraling.
because she like it seems she seems
Scared of
malicious.
getting
Like she seems to
hurt.
be like, oh,
Or
like
scared of getting
it's
caught.
one thing to be like, oh, I should sing because it's like because before I was like, oh, maybe she doesn't know she's doing it with the singing, but then she pulls a gun on John, so it's like okay,
And then she made up all these stories that she
and she
knew weren't
tried to
true.
kill Officer Quincy probably because he was suspecting the same thing. At least that's what I assume, but.
Would you like to ask her?
Oh, I guess I
Yeah.
could, huh? Yeah. I don't pull a gun on her.
You just point
Would
your
you like
bracelet at
to
her.
role play it out, or would you like to just tell me what the police reports found from her statement? Because we can do it either way.
I think in the moment I would be more interested in like John and Olivia and making sure they're good.
Yeah.
So if she's like at the station for a while, I can talk to her there. Otherwise, I can just get a report from someone else.
Okay. Yeah, I think let's go for the report route.
Okay.
It's
Das's case anyway, after all. So I imagine once she calms down. she'll
yeah,
have
and
an
she's
actual-
actually pretty excited, to be honest, that like her initial hunch was correct. She's obviously upset that like
She wasn't there at the end.
yeah, and that Matt was involved in like he knows nothing about.
Oh yeah, because Matt's
magic
like
and-
my partner.
Oh no, he's
Yeah.
like a normal.
So she's still pretty shooken up about it, but she sees you at work and she essentially is like, you kind of ask about, so what happened with Martha? Did you hear? And she explains that from Martha's side of the story, she essentially viewed it as she would sing to people who were at their lowest points to try and help soothe them. And she realized at some point that she could soothe them into death so that they never had to feel that type of pain anymore. And so she essentially saw it as like this, like a mercy killing almost,
Yeah.
right? That like,
Yeah.
like I'm
So misguided.
and at first she also didn't realize that like people could get hurt from this. So when the entire crowd got really super emotional, that was kind of one of those pivotal moments of her being like, oh, I didn't realize that this could like affect people that way. And then she accidentally killed Darnell Fox, thinking she was helping him. And then she met Miss Bancroft And she realized that she was in an awful marriage, and she was like, well, the only way out of this for her is to die, obviously. And it's like it's a silly spiral, right? But when you yourself are not great mentally, because we found out that she's an alcoholic, right? She continued to justify these things and was like,
it's the little allowances that all serial killers have. It's like you're allowing yourself just a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more.
absolutely. And
Eventually, you think you're just helping people.
exactly. And so all of her killings were her trying to help people in a very morbid way, until she tried to even then, when she tried to go after Officer Quincy, she noticed that he was having a really hard time, just in general, mainly like personal life. Like he's been working a lot and had been fighting with his girlfriend, and she could tell that he was really sad. And so she tried to sing to him, and it definitely hurt him, but it didn't kill him. And that's kind of where she slipped up. And then obviously, like, you had already had John with you, so that's kind of where the ruse ended.
That's kind of surprising to me because I thought for Quincy, his whole thing was because I assumed he was guarding outside of the door. So I assumed that she was just inside, started singing because she's warming up or whatever. And because it was muffled through the door, he didn't die from it. But
See,
Well,
I
so
was.
that's- the
People
thing
don't
is that
die
she
at
can-
every performance.
Exactly. She can control
It's
when
suspicious.
the song is
Like lethal.
lethal, yeah. And she always targets people who have a lot of pain and sorrow. She's never targeted anybody who didn't. So,
Damn.
yeah,
what is her mythos?
That was
she's a banshee.
Oh,
Bitch, okay.
okay.
Kind of cool, huh?
that's
That
sick.
is so
Yeah, I was like, is she a siren? Is she?
Bro,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, that
excited
is
to find
really
out the next one.
I know, it's so cool.
That took us so long. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to John.
But I hope that we'll have a better idea of, like, the next case, how to, like,
I think
fucking do things.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think we've gotten like, especially in this like last scenario, like this last scene for this are these closing scenes. I think we've really come into our stride. So like the future cases will be more like we will progress more quickly without it feeling rushed, right? Because
Yeah.
we know like
Less origin story.
yeah, and
we
we'll also
Yeah, that's true.
that we have powers now, so we
Yeah.
can leverage that.
and
Yeah,
we'll
we
also
don't have
like
to be like, ooh, let me just go into this bathroom so I can go
I
to
think
my
we also-
library.
yeah, I think we also won't be like fine tooth combing as much as we kind of were early on. Because like I'm a completionist, right? I'm playing a video game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get every
100%,
trophy. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to ask about John. Like, what is
Yeah.
he good?
So John is good. He was able to, thanks to your help, he was able to go through that whole process. And unfortunately, he's still on parole, but he's not in extra trouble.
Cool.
You do find out from John, though, that what Miles had told you earlier is true. He literally was helping a friend get out of a bar fight and
Aw,
essentially got blamed for it all because he's an easy target.
he's just a big.
Yeah, he's just
I'm
a
sure he's-
big, strong guy
Yeah.
that can't speak.
Can't really defend himself
So-
verbally.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
And so, like, unfortunately, because it's on the less magical side of the law, you can't really do much about that. But everything else was dropped, and he is back to work over
Nice.
at the fabrication plant.
Cool. Yeah.
He is no longer kind of hiding out. Come to find out, he actually has an apartment. It was his parents' apartment that he still lives in now, or I guess like moved into once they passed. But he wasn't living there for a while because of the things that were happening with Martha, and he didn't want like the apartment to get searched because he knew people were after him, and he just didn't want his parents' stuff like getting messed up. Yeah, but he's back to normal now as far as like living in an actual place and working regularly. He seems pretty happy.
Cool.
You know, there's a weird struggle that he has now of like trying to determine these visions that he gets, whether or not they're worth doing anything about, because he doesn't want to get into trouble again, like he did with Martha. Because after kind of sitting down with the police department, he kind of came to the realization that like because he is privy to the future, he can communicate it even less because he's already got the communication disabilities. But then on top of that, like, how do you convey to somebody that something will happen to them?
Yeah.
So he's kind of learning how to pick his battles.
You should just start working with the police and preventing future crimes.
He could have a spin-off series.
But yeah, he's doing
John.
doing okay.
That's the series.
And he's pretty happy too, that Martha is all right.
Yeah. What happened to her?
She's right now she's in like a rehabilitation program with your police department. Essentially, she's like under lock and key to make sure that she's like not harmful further. But they've got her going to what are they called? Like court ordered therapy, essentially, right? To like kind of assess how dangerous she is, and can she be let out into society if she's no longer drinking.
But she is a killer. Like, I don't think she should be.
For sure. And it's not that she's not going to serve that jail time,
Okay.
but like there
But
is
will
there
she
is a
ever be able to
rehabilitation
be?
process to
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So she will be serving. But Alex, you do know, and I think it's up to you whether you choose to tell the other characters this or not, but the newspapers say they were weird heart attacks, and they're leaving it at that because the press side of your police department has kept that. So she will be serving time for the killings, but they are not announcing those killings to the entire city.
They mark it under tax fraud or something like that, or
For
Fencing
her
goods?
kind of
not the medical kind.
yeah, it was no surprise to anybody that she was an alcoholic, so they kind of just touted it as she's going to rehab, and they were like, oh, what a shame, darn,
Poor
this
Sammy.
washed up jazz singer, we're sure gonna miss her, right? Like that's kind of the sentiment. And
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'll tell anyone. I mean, everyone involved knows what's up, I think, for the most part. And I think, like, if she gets out, like, I'll probably make up a file in the back of my brain. But, like, if she keeps out, to keep an ear out for, like, random heart attacks. But, like, other than that, I don't think I'm in the business of, like, making things publicly known if I can avoid it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that dumb? No, it's not dumb.
I don't know, is it?
I like
It's
it.
up to you.
Yeah, it is up to me. No, yeah, that's what I do. That's what I don't do.
Okay. Any other questions you have that need to be answered, or
No,
any
these
thoughts
are
before we
not
go on?
the myths that I thought that they would be. These
Yeah.
are so niche and
Yeah,
fucking
right?
awesome.
I didn't know.
I have to go to therapy now.
I knew as soon as I saw her card
An
that her
appointment.
voice was fucked, right? Like, it's spooky. Like, it's a spooky
Oh, I didn't really
character
notice
card.
that it was spooky. I
Dude,
haven't.
look at it, man.
That was when my eyesight.
the red.
wasn't-
That's a ghoul, I think, behind
Her
her.
flyer.
But I would have. It would have taken me a minute because I was like, Christmas and death. What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
it would have taken me a minute to get like quite some time to get to Ghost of Christmas
It's the
Future.
premonitions that's like,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
future.
I'm
Okay.
really proud of you for getting
That's
that,
sick that
honestly,
you got
because
that.
when I read that, I was like, the heck?
But yeah, once you hear it, you're like, oh. But
Yeah.
no.
Does look the red smoke in the background does look a little evil.
Looks a
yeah,
little fucking spooky.
really
right?
ominous.
And that's why when you were like, that's why I was so quick to be like, it's got to be Martha, right?
I didn't have that in my brain. That image. I was just like, look, it's a blob. Because I never looked at it up close.
That's fair.
She's singing.
Matt Quincy, is he okay? Is he recovering?
Yeah, he's okay.
How's his relationship?
It's doing a little bit better. He got a bit of time off work, and so he's been able to kind of
And all the pity points.
Rest his
in the
eye.
hospital.
From almost dying.
Yeah.
yeah. He's doing all right.
Banshee.
That's
Trace.
good.
It's a little
But-
scary. Like,
Yeah.
why is this lady singing at me?
Then I'm on the
Can't listen
ground.
to the radio anymore.
That would suck. Not that I listen to the
It's
radio.
okay.
No,
It's
mean,
Just
you'll be
jazz. He'll be
fine.
fine.
he's a sleeper enough.
Yeah,
that
I'm sure he'll be fine.
He has equated it to an early onset of like a
He thinks it's
heart
unrelated.
issue.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He's
just
eating
been like
better now.
overworked. You know,
Sure
you
is.
said he was
Yeah,
at work
he's
a lot.
stressed.
He just got really burnt out.
Yeah.
And his body was like, stop.
Yep.
Well, speaking of burnt out,
Damn,
can
that
I
would
end
be
this
easy
case
to
with,
play
like-
it off as that. Yeah.
Can I end this case with downtime?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Oh, just that's
That's it.
No, I think. Sorry, I said cool, and I started thinking about what I wanted to do. I think I'm just gonna take Soul for a walk. Maybe to like the neighborhood park, fuck around and like play fetch or whatever.
Soul a cat or a
I love
dog?
that.
He's a dog.
I thought it was a cat, so I was confused.
That'd be sick if he was, and I did that though.
It's just really
No,
the
I think
fetch
that's
that
all.
got me. I was like,
Relax. I think I'll. I think what I do is like, after a case that I like that kind of comes to a close. I like the next time I go home, he gets all excited to see me like dogs, and I'm like, bro, you won't believe what happened. I start telling him all about like the Library of Alexander, the guy, the musician that sees ghosts, the super scary bartender, and then I'm like, yep, yapping, bro. I keep talking about like this chick who was a banshee that tried to kill me. That tried to kill Officer Quincy. I talk about Dad's, how she had a wild like breakdown, but I didn't make fun of her because that was like her first serious case, and I didn't want to give her crap yet. And then yeah, I'm just yapping, right? And then he's like listening intently because that's my boy, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then and I go, and now I'm here. And then I grab like his leash and like the ball and stuff. I'm like, all right, let's go to the park. And then we start walking to the park. And I think that's how I start my downtime.
Yeah. I would like to point out that it is Sunday, so you are able to enjoy your Sunday
Nice.
with your dog and kind of try and mellow out as much as you can in one day. Yeah. Does anybody else have anything they want to do?
So if it's Sunday, it's the weekend. I probably have a gig at least one of the days on the weekend. So I'm prepping for the gig, and I find this new like sad kind of soulful riff, and I was like, I think I'm going to call this song The Banshee. And that is my downtime.
Nice. Anybody else?
Yeah. So I think in all the commotion that had happened with Martha, after ending the call and then like looking back at the phone that I now have, I make a mental note of the phone number there. And then I start researching about what the fuck the relic hunters or relic warriors, whatever it is.
I do want to make it. Oh, wait, never. I'm also super far from my mic. Never mind.
Okay. And I'm just going to start kind of like looking into all of that. It's not necessarily that I think they're maybe like, no, I think it's an underlying fear. And like the reason why I didn't end up staying is that they might take the Library of Alexandria away. And it has already fallen once. It can't fall again. So it's like a lot of researching both in and out of the Great Library on those relic hunters.
Relic warriors.
Relic wardens.
It's hunters. It's hunters. Wardens is kind of sick though, but it's hunters. It might be the other department though. It might be the wardens, but they're their own thing.
Oh, okay.
Olivia, do you want to do anything? Or you don't have to, but
I'm probably just gonna head home and scavenge in the pantry to see if there's anything, because usually I come home with something from the kitchen at the bar, but I left early. So
how are you feeling after the events of tonight / last night, because it's now the morning?
yeah. I'm just kind of exhausted. Like more tired than I would be if I had just gone like stayed at work. But I'm like glad that I went, that I didn't make things worse, because like she's had experiences with kind of needing someone to just reach out and offer kindness, and then I just made her feel more crazy. But I'm gonna text my brother at like 5 in the morning and just say I made an appointment. And it'll bring me a little bit of joy to know that he doesn't get up until 8 usually, but he keeps his volume on. Still, it's gonna wake him up.
He rolls over and thumbs up your message, reads it, is pretty sure he understands it, and like rolls back
Yeah.
and goes to bed. But when he does wake up, he actually replies back and says, "Proud of you."
I'm gonna thumbs up.
And that ends our first case.
All
So
right.
Okay, I have comments about the system thus far.
Okay.
I have one quick question. I get my burnt power back since I'm chilling, right?
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, so these okay, the whole player moves
burns.
thing is a hard concept for me initially, I'll be honest. Because I feel like it's trying to fit you into one of these specific things, but it's weird, right? So like investigate, for instance, you just seek out answers to burning questions. And I mean, I guess that's like very vague, but your investigation exposes you to danger. Clues you get are fuzzy or incomplete. Whoever or whatever you're asking the questions can ask you one question as well. You answer on the same terms. And it just feels a little bit strange, right? Because the way that we normally play, it's like role playing, and we normally go with like the whole, what does your character do? This is what your character does. Okay, that relates to this kind of a thing, this kind of a move. Whereas with City of Mist, it feels like it's a little bit more beneficial to work the other way around. Because of change the game, you get juice that then can help you out with like story tags and things like that. Or what are some other ones? I mean, sneak around. Everything has stealth.
Yeah,
But,
I
like-
think these are a good like framework though. If you don't know what, your
Yeah. I
character
agree. They're more
wants
like
to do.
Feels
guiding lights,
this
so
is
if, like-
hey, this is what it might be.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that though, because it has an actual in-game mechanic called juice.
Okay.
And that juice is what you use to do various other things. And also there's things in here about gaining attention on your powers, or fades and cracks in your powers. And it, at least initially, I mean, God, you might tell me otherwise, but it seems like by kind of like putting your moves to fit into one of, like putting your actions to fit into one of these player moves is how you quote unquote improve your character, or diminish your character, or get juice, or
I don't understand, because juice, to my understanding, just happens if you roll high enough.
According to this, no, you have to do the what is it
It's
called?
for the change the game
Change the game
action.
Or prepare for your next activity can give you 3 juice.
So it's like,
under montage.
yeah, it's like you.
I still think you can make these decisions like preemptively, right? I don't
But
think
that's what I'm saying. Is normally how we play, we do the thing and then we backtrack as to what that thing
I
falls into. Whereas
That's
with this, you
kind
need
of
to-
how I
I think it's
do it
I-
anyway.
I see it the same, right? Because if like it's like for me, like changes the game is almost like preemptively like preparing a spell, right? Like I know I want to do this thing. I know it's gonna take juice, so I'm gonna attempt to prepare a spell. I'm gonna attempt to change the game. And if I can't not do that, then I will like if I fail the roll, like I could in D&D, for example, right? Then I'll pivot and try something else. But I think I kind of agree with what Joseph was saying, where like it helps the GM say like if you roll something and fail, like I have these tools that I can work with, especially like when it comes to dealing with other people, right? Like if you're trying to interrogate someone, but you roll a little low, they can be like, okay, I'll answer your questions, but for every one question of yours, you have to answer one of mine, right? And obviously you don't have to do that, but
No,
like
I like those things. It's just it's a different way of thinking because when we normally look at role playing, we don't try and plan our moves ahead of time. We just fucking role play and then go off of that.
And we don't try and like keep track of juice, for example, and like that sort of thing.
I-
Tension,
okay.
fade, and crack. So we're kind of treating social dialogue then as a combat with preparing a spell. Is I guess what it.
I
is
guess,
starting to
but I
sound
don't
like.
think we've done that at all.
I
Like I
see.
don't.
Have not done that. However,
Okay.
the game looks like it does.
I hear you. I personally I disagree with that sentiment, right? Because
Yeah.
I just don't feel that way. And maybe my brain's just wired differently. But I just don't see that. Because the fade and cracks just sound like morality, right? Like if you're saying I'm lawful good, but you don't do lawful good things, you're not lawful good, right? Like so for one of my mysteries, right, is protect the most people. Like how can I protect the most people? But if every time I'm in a dangerous situation, I don't give a shit about protecting the most people, that is going to crack. And I don't have to preemptively think that, right? Like, oh, I guess I can think it in the sense that I know that it's my mystery. Just like in D&D, I know I'm lawful good. But I don't think it goes much beyond that, right? Which is, I think, pretty normal. Because it's just like,
stop holding back. It has a lot about fading and cracking if you use your powers. So there's that there. But also, if I'm not mistaken, attention is how you or fade and crack is how you like
Level up or
improve your
level
character or
down.
level up or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's like you do kind of have to put mechanical. You have to think mechanically almost when you are role playing, so that then you can try and see about doing your attention to.
Yeah, we should
different
probably
things.
be checking these.
yeah. I mean, I definitely think there are things to be aware of. But we've seen things like that in like Lady Blackbird or like Blaze in the Dark, right? Where if you hit certain wickets while you do things, you get XP for that. But even in those games, we didn't like go out of our way to do these things. We just kind of played our characters because I think,
and then if we
and then we reflect,
that.
right? And we're like, oh yeah, we did do these things. Womp womp womp.
or with what's it called? Blades in the Dark. There was like certain things that like you'd get
If you do this,
benef-
you get
yeah,
extra.
if you did this.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't like actively
I wouldn't go into situations thinking I have to do this, but at the end of a case, I would be like, oh, I did this. Let me
yeah,
add.
it'd be like you
Yeah.
kind of fit. You'd make these things like fit a situation that already happened, instead of trying to make
Right.
trying to create a situation from these.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're worried about?
I'm not worried. I'm making a comment about the fact that you have to treat RP as mechanical a little bit more.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we do need to be checking these.
Because
we
something
definitely should be paying.
I think
more
we should
attention
check them,
to it.
definitely.
something like Lady Blackbird or like Blades in the Dark, right? They have a simplified enough level up system that you don't have to keep track of much. Hey, during this heist, did you have a desperate action? You did? Fantastic. You get an XP. Whereas this, it's like, okay, hey, so for your Enclave ability, did you do any of these kinds of moves focused on that then means that you increase your attention or increase your fade or crack level? because that will only apply to my Enclave Library of Alexandria ability. It won't apply to my divination training or routine kinds of things. So it's an observation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like give you grief. I just think at least for me, like when we go through character creation,
Yeah.
like it makes sense that we do these things anyway a lot of the time. So like for me, it doesn't feel mechanical, right? Like because I like I did try to protect. Like my character is designed to try to protect the most people, to have a bracelet.
Well, that's because we're cracked role players.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
but
are.
but like, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
But like, but I think that's like the encouraging part, right? Not encouraging, but like I think that's what it's meant to be. Is like you now have these like 4 key attributes that you're framing your character around, and if you're not going to use it, you will lose it, and then you can pick something else that you're actually gonna play with, right?
Use it or lose it.
Because if I
buddy.
like my bracelet, like one could argue today, like I didn't use it, right? And if I continue to not use it, then why do I have it, right? And one could argue like, well, if I'm not going to use this, I should crack it and give my character something that is actually relevant, right? So if I don't use my bracelet a lot, but I'm like, I keep getting in hand-to-hand like grapples or altercations with people, I could lose that
Mythos.
I could lose that mythos and get a logos that is just about hand-to-hand combat, right?
Yeah.
And I think by that way, it's like, instead of thinking of like, I have to do these things or I'm going to lose it, I think for me, it's more like, well, if I'm not using these things, I should get something I'm going to use. And you only discover that just by role-playing naturally, right? So it's like,
Yeah, but it's something that you have to keep in the back of your mind. I guess is kind I get
Okay.
like proceeding forward on like the next case or whatever. Maybe just I don't know. I'm gonna probably reread these player moves and then just try and note them as we're going through, just to see how it plays around. I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
talking out of my ass here.
No, I would say
no,
that
I'm
like,
talking about my
that's-
ass too, if you are.
That's just one of those things about
Girl,
City
but-
of Mist that is it makes the game not necessarily like intuitive. Like I would not say so far. I would not say that this is a game for like brand new role players. Unless they're starting at a really strong table and like they are the one new person. If you're like a whole group of newer players, I don't think that this is as intuitive as a lot of other RPGs that we've played, because there are such like nuanced rules specifically for the players, and honestly for the GM as well, or the MC as well. Like it's seemingly simple when you first read it, but then there's a lot more depth to it. It's definitely thrown me for a loop because I thought I had a pretty good grasp on things, and then we started playing and I was like, actually, I know nothing. But yeah, so I think that's definitely something for us to explore a little bit more in the coming cases and see.
Oh yeah, I do want to like mention we are still playing this game more.
Yeah, it sounds like we're ending.
Yeah,
It does sound like we're ending.
you were like, well, my comments on this game that we finished.
That is a good call out though, because I do want to
Yeah.
pay more attention to that going forward. I do also want to say I love that, and I've discovered I like that in TTRPGs when there is a like, hey, do this fucking thing or don't, and track it.
Yep.
That way you can get like in Lady Blackbird it was like powers and stuff, but in this game it's obviously like the attention or fade and crack. I just like that mechanically because I guess it helps me stay aware of what I am and aren't paying attention to.
Yeah.
And I want my character to like use the cool shit he has. So if I'm not using it, I want to lose it and get something else if I'm not gonna
Yeah.
fucking use it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Because then it becomes like one of those feats that you use every once in a while
Mm-hmm.
in
Like-
very niche situations.
Yeah.
Sometimes situations that you're like, I think I could make this
Mm-hmm.
work.
Well,
Yeah.
the cool thing about Fade and Crack is like the just the stop holding back thing, because basically you say, "Hey, I'm going to use my thing really strong in a weird way." Like I'm going to have my bracelet. I don't know, Staff of God. So then you roll and choose like, is this a significant thing? Is it a no return thing, or is it like a fucking ultimate? You just did your X-ray move in fucking Mortal Kombat or whatever the hell. You roll, and then it's, dependent on the scale of how powerful this thing is, you fade or crack. I think crack is the more appropriate word there, because you just overused the power. The other ones get fucking weird, like ultimate, you just die.
That can happen, yeah. You can die.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, this isn't CNC. Cottages and servers.
Thank you. I was like, this isn't what? I was searching my
Yeah,
rant.
anyways,
why.
I'm so sorry for that rant.
No, dude.
No. you're
Pop
good.
off, King.
Yeah, heck 'em. This is our podcast. We'll
We're
rant if we
geeking
want
out
to.
during credits.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are.
Half of them already stopped listening.
I know we're not doing any of the things that it
Yeah,
says.
you know how I was like, oh, this doesn't have to be 2 episodes? It's probably 2 episodes.
Welcome to the end of the second episode.
There was no end to the first episode. Well, I guess there was.
Yeah, it's some episode.
There's a number of them for
8?
sure.
8.
Yeah.
5, 6.
But anyway, I was
7.
honestly like, I'm really proud of you guys for figuring things out eventually.
I didn't.
What? No, you did. Are you kidding me? You were the first person to figure it out.
Aha! You guys all suck.
True.
What did I figure out first?
You were the one that was like, wait, what if he's been trying to stop her?
I did figure it out.
You did.
And
Alright,
she's
get it on my
been the
level.
one doing it all along.
I
And
said
was
that
like,
part first, and I'm gonna die on that hill.
We worked together on this.
Yeah,
'cause we're
Gemini,
champions.
Team Gemini, baby.
Those two aren't.
Yeah, they're losers.
You did say at the beginning that you thought Martha was involved,
Yeah.
but you didn't ever specify that you didn't think John had something to do with it.
That's right.
Stevie was definitely the first person to have like really fully tied it together,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes! I'm so proud."
After
Yeah,
so
my
many
original
dumb
thought-
guesses, I'm sure.
My original thought was like, okay, so Martha is doesn't know she's a rift and is accidentally summoning death.
Summoning death. That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking too.
I was
Yeah.
thinking that, and then I was like, oh, he looked at that poster and felt sad. They have a prior relationship,
Okay. Okay.
and there's like it's almost like a cat and mouse kind of a game between the two of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's not it either. What the fuck is going on?
And then we were like, "Oh, he's the ghost of Christmas Future." Dude, what I would never get that, bro.
It's fucking wild. Like, because the only thing I'm thinking is like any of those like Christmas Carol movies, like
Yeah.
Christmas Future is the one where it's like, hey, you're dead and
You're
no one
gonna
cares.
die. Yep.
Hence the
Yeah.
cartoony. It's all.
It's sick. It's cool because like
I-
when you know it, you're like, yeah, clearly.
Duh.
Yeah,
Why else would he have
it's
Christmas
definitely
and death?
it's definitely not something I would have been able to come up with on my own. Like, thank heavens we have a module because like I'm not that creative. Like, I would not have been like, you know what would be cool to pull together the ghost of Christmas Future. Obviously, right? Like, no, there's no way.
And a banshee, of course.
They go hand in hand.
I
Yeah, I
would
was trying to think like, oh, the Pied Piper doesn't do any of this shit. What's going on?
yeah.
I would like to point out though that like I think as players it's really cool for you guys to know what people's rifts are based off of. But like character wise, that's not a thing. Like
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
know.
We don't go. You're the yeah.
You don't go,
mechanics,
oh,
yeah.
P, you're Orpheus, obviously, right? Like it's and same thing with like these. There's something there's like it's kind of like this like weird thing of like a banshee is a category of rift, right? So like you could like if Alex had come into contact with other banshees, he'd be like, oh yes, a banshee, right? But like he's not going to be like, oh, ghost of Christmas past, it's nice to meet you, right? It's
Yeah.
like you're aware of those powers that they possess, but you're not necessarily aware of like the
encompassing
entity
mythos.
behind it. Yeah, unless it's like a magical creature type thing, almost, if that makes sense. And like,
Okay.
to be honest, the it's loose.
Yes.
It's whatever I choose. Is it really what happens? So, I do think though, like as a player, I would want to know.
Yeah, it's fun
what
to know.
they
Yeah,
are.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and I
Please
think
don't
when-
stop telling us.
when Damien figured it out, I was like, how in the world? Because when I like at reading it, when it finally announced like what he was in my script of like, here's how the module goes, I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
I see it, but
That's-
like, what?
That's wild. So I was proud of you for even coming up with it. Because I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have, for sure.
That was fun. That was really fun.
Yeah. I'm ready for the fucking next case
Yeah.
though. We still have to
Yeah.
figure out the mending the broken.
mystery- yeah, I still want to know if they like if I'm because I'm one like okay, what if it was just like what if they are just therapists over there, Right, and somebody was just
And
concerned
you
because
were
she
like
drinks all.
conspiracy theories.
I'm still
like,
on that. Okay,
Yeah, I'm
Like,
still there.
We'll find out next time
Yeah.
because I'm going to therapy now.
Yeah, good point.
They're
You have
gonna
therapy on
indoctrinate you.
Tuesday. Yeah, if you come back weird, we'll know.
Will you?
No.
No, I feel perfectly fine. In fact, I think you should have a visit too.
Oh, thank you.
I'm
And then
never
I'll just make
going
you
to
feel like,
therapy.
oh,
Although
God.
she did try to like send you to therapy when
Yeah,
when you were
when she thought
telling
he
her
was
that
she's
she
nuts. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I see dead
Hey.
people. Yeah, I'm sure
sorry.
you do, man.
Where's
didn't
the
know
card
that-
for Olivia so we can just put it up onto the board?
It was
I
Olivia all
didn't
along.
know that other people experience these things. I thought I was just like insane
It was
a
valid.
little bit, but
Aren't we
like
all?
then,
Not me.
yeah. And then he brought us to the fucking library, and I was like, okay. And then he had the bracelet thing, and I've never like known whether it's a coincidence or not.
Yeah.
Whether the person maybe like I thought I might just be more intuitive on what people are feeling and doing, but then I like was like, hello.
And I was like, oh my God.
Because the world will crumble.
And there it was, crumbling.
And now we're all besties.
Yeah.
Power of friendship is the strongest power all along.
Oh, no, man.
High five.
I
My
am
power is pretty
unbreakable.
sick. I don't
All right,
know.
deuces.
Yeah, get out of here, you fucking
Breakfast
freaks.
club.
Goodbye.
High five.
You smell bad. I am so
And we
tired.
leave.
It's so late. I'm so sleepy.
And I'll say RH and not RW because RH stands for Relic Hunter. But only I know that. I keep thinking RW for what?
Relic warriors.
Relic Wolves? I'll make
Relic
sure.
wranglers.
So relic
Honestly-
wranglers.
They're like my department, but they all wear cowboy hats. And
That's
they
a
do
little
Little more
spurs.
A little more
They're
accurate
like chasing
description.
after Thor and just trying to like lasso up his hammer. Yeehaw!
This
Poor
looks
Officer
like a
Daz.
job for the relic wranglers. Dun, 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 dun.
I hate the spinoff that we're making.
Sounds like a middle school basketball team.
Imagine that being your mascot, bro. The Relic Wrangler.